In part one, we define support and describe the hierarchy of support using a pyramid that had supportive presence at its base, emotional, psychological, and safety support in the middle, and unconditional life support at its pinnacle. In part two, I will explore embodied support. How does it actually feel to be truly supported in your body? As many of you know, I believe in going in depth into everything, and embodiment is a very big part of that. So I'm going to attempt to describe what I have felt in my body when I have felt positively and authentically supported, as opposed to what I have felt in my body when I have been toxically supported. In my experience, the first word that comes to mind is relief. It's this feeling of knowing that no matter what, someone has your back. And it's a very big sense of relief when you have that, because it would feel like knowing, just knowing that no matter how bad things get or any kind of adversity that might come your way, you have the way, the means to climb out of that. And there is somebody coming. Here's an example. A year and a half ago, I was in Mexico and I decided to go on a day trip to a somewhat remote location, and I was really scared. It was my first time in Mexico. And by the way, beautiful country, which I strongly suggest you visit. But I was scared and I was alone and I was not sure how safe I was going to be. So I decided to literally look my fear in the face and look at the worst scenario, and decided that I was going to get some support. And I messaged two friends. One was a really close friend of mine who lives in the UK, and another was a new friend that I had made in Mexico who was actually a couple of 100 kilometers in the opposite direction from where I was. And I said to them, I said, listen, I'm traveling out into a rural area, the countryside, for the first time on my own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my live location with you, and I want you to check in on me within 48 hours of me completing this journey, because I was supposed to be back the next day. And I said, listen, if you don't hear from me, I need you to contact my next of kin back home or call the police. And this act gave me so much relief, because then I went on this excursion feeling like, okay, somebody has my back. If something goes wrong, either help will get to me, or a worst case scenario, there will be a way to find my body and inform my family back home about what's happened. I know it sounds horrible to say that, but you know exactly what I mean. And the other feeling I had when I felt supported in an authentic way is strength in my solar plexus. I have talked about how this feels in your solar plexus when this area is strengthened, and how it feels when it isn't in a previous video. I will copy paste that in the link below so you can watch that if you like. And having someone vouch for you and show up for you in a way that's unconditional really lends strength to this area. At least it does for me. And then there's also this feeling of companionship, of feeling less alone, along with feelings of easygoingness, comfort, and a feeling of freedom. There's a very interesting phenomenon that's discussed in psychology a lot, and that is attachment theory. And many who understand attachment theory tend to think about attachment in early infancy, in the first 2 years of life. But attachment is actually an ongoing, lifelong phenomenon. And there are certain criterion that must be fulfilled for one to have a secure attachment with an infant, for example. Secure attachment means that the adults and the caregivers are attuned and sensitive to the needs of that infant. But between the ages of 9 and 11, attachment takes a different form, because as children grow older, they seek to become more independent and want to explore the world around them. And in this case, a criterion for secure attachment is having a parent who will let them do that. That is, explore the world around them, learn from their mistakes, but still welcome them back and accept their mistakes and help them to learn from their mistakes. Basically, it would be a parent who has their back no matter what. And that then gives them the confidence to go out and explore the world and the confidence to feel safe doing that because they know somebody has their back even when they screw up. So I, of course, now I'm middle aged now, I'm way past my childhood, but my body still felt that kind of security when I had this kind of support. So in part 3, we're going to get into the actual meat of this subject, which is the toxic support that I have been threatening to talk about, and see what I have discovered or observed in this area. See you there.